How Amish shop for groceries on a budget. Although the Amish do not live as regular city people do, they still have to do some basic things like shopping for groceries. But for the Amish, they do this on a shockingly thin budget. How do they pull this off and keep having enough to make a variety of dishes? Stay with us in this video to find out. Just in case you've wondered, how exactly do the Amish get their food if they base their lives on avoiding modern civilization? Well, the main and most comprehensive answer to that is farming. The Amish have been farmers for as long as their tradition has existed, so they produce all their foods from scratch. Here's the thing though, not every foodstuff or ingredient can be organically produced on a farm. As a result, the Amish, like every regular person, have to visit grocery stores to get certain important items. Unlike regular people though, they don't just make a long list and splurge on as many canned and packaged foods as they can get their hands on. Nope. Remember, being Amish means putting major emphasis on self-sufficiency, making the most use of scarce and available resources, and not living lavishly. So rather than spend hundreds of dollars on grocery shopping, the Amish seek out ways to shop on a tight budget. Considering how terrible the current global economy is and the ridiculous inflation on food prices, there's no better time to learn how to shop for groceries on a budget, and trust us, no one does it better than the Amish. For this sect of people, grocery shopping starts with making a very simple and concise list of what's needed in their homes. Remember, Amish communities have deep-rooted religious beliefs and cultural practices, which is why they value simplicity and modesty. And although we probably can't break it down to you like Amish people from the 1800s would, accumulating material goods doesn't serve the purpose of modesty or simplicity. The way of living and thinking makes them very different from the typical consumerist behavior, hence making putting together a grocery list much easier. For you, your first concern in grocery shopping might be the quality of product being used, which most likely means you'll be going for the more expensive stuff. But since Amish people prioritize simplicity, practicality, and self-sufficiency, grocery shopping is more about the durability of products or how many different purposes one item can be used for. When they put this list together, it helps to save time and stress, since they can now move through the store quickly and decidedly to get exactly the items on their list. The Amish also do this to help them stick to their budget and avoid impulse buying because, believe this, even though the Amish live off the grid and are pretty disciplined in their lifestyle, they're still human, which means they can still end up buying on impulse if they don't have a shopping list. In fact, it's possible to say the Amish are even more liable to impulse buying when it comes to purchasing foodstuff and ingredients at a store. After all, their culinary skills are way better than those of the average American, so there's almost no ingredient that won't be seen as useful if you ask an Amish cook. Using a list helps them focus only on the ingredients on that list, and this is why we strongly advise you to put together a list ahead of your next grocery trip. To do this more efficiently, consider making your list on sticky notes you keep on your fridge or on a wall in your kitchen. This way, you can update the list as you run out of each ingredient or food item, so you don't have to brainstorm when it's time to stock up. Perhaps the most vital reason for the Amish to shop with a list is that it helps to prevent waste. We've all been there. Going to the grocery store, buying too much of a particular item, you keep it for later, but before later, the item gets spoiled, and you have to throw it out. Well, in Amish communities, wasting food is not only frowned upon, it's like a taboo. And the same goes for everything else apart from food. The Amish pride themselves on being able to make use of scarce resources, and they'd rather do that than have excess and see it go to waste. So yeah, that's another reason why the Amish use grocery lists when trying to shop on a budget. And it's something we strongly advise you to do too. What exactly are the items listed on the average Amish shopping list? Let's do a quick rundown. For groceries and raw food materials, they opt for bulk items that come in durable containers like sacks or cans. That's why you'll find a lot of flour, sugar, and oats on the Amish grocery list. Around this time of the year, most members of Amish communities opt for canned goods, which makes it easier to preserve and also supplements the stored-up farm goods throughout the cold season. The next set of items on the Amish shopping list would be gardening and farming supplies. This is particularly common among modern-day Amish people who are flexible about the use of conventional farm tools rather than sticking to traditional methods. These supplies include farmhand tools, seeds, animal care products, and canning supplies like empty jars. Like we mentioned earlier, the Amish are not so particular about quality, so they make do with the cheapest of these farming materials. The same goes for any household goods found in the Amish shopping list, particularly kitchenware like pots and pans and cutlery utensils. If you visit the average Amish family kitchen, you'll find that their kitchen utensils are heavy and ancient and made from dense metals. This is because Amish people would rather use pots, pans, knives, and even spoons that were passed down from older generations than buy new luxury or aesthetically pleasing utensils. So when they need to go shopping, they prefer those kinds of utensils that have been left on the store shelf for many years because regular modern-day people would rather get the more luxurious products. Another set of items the Amish shop for are fabric and sewing supplies. Sure, buying clothes is not part of any regular person's grocery plans, but the Amish don't exactly go clothes shopping. They don't wear designers or any ready-made brands for that matter. Rather, they make all their clothes themselves to make sure the style adheres to their standards of modesty and simplicity. So when Amish people go grocery shopping, they often opt to add fabrics and other sewing supplies like threads, needles, and buttons to their lists. Fabric shopping is especially easy for them, so it's not something to give too much thought to. All their clothes are made from dull, plain, light, and durable fabrics, so there's little worry about getting the right pattern or design. The average Amish shopping list also includes personal care and health products, but they buy these on a lesser scale than you would. The Amish aren't concerned with getting face cleansers, sunscreen, colognes, or any products that come to mind when you think of personal care. For them, they only shop for the cheapest basic health and hygiene products that can be deemed as necessities, like soap, toothpaste, and a couple of prescription pills like ibuprofen for home medication. After making a comprehensive list which they abide by strictly, the next important step for the Amish in ensuring they don't exceed their shopping budget is to determine where they'll be doing said shopping. To do this, they consider certain factors, starting with the geographic proximity of the store. The Amish choose to live off-grid for a reason. They choose to not use modern technology like phones and televisions, and they choose to limit their interactions with members of the outside world. Above all else, they make these decisions to preserve their religious beliefs and way of life because they believe association with the outside world can break their core values. So when they have to step out of their preferred comfort zone of just being with and around their family to buy groceries or any vital items, they'd rather it's somewhere near their settlement. What this means is that none of the 40,000 Amish people living in Ohio's famous Holmes County will take a 3-hour buggy ride to Jungle Jim's International Market just because that's where everyone else is going. Not only does shopping close to their settlement reduce their interactions with non-Amish people, it also reduces the transportation costs, so it's a win all around. You can already see how the Amish shop on a budget even before getting into the stores. Another factor they consider is the possibility of bulk buying. That's essentially the next most important thing on an Amish person's mind before setting out to the grocery store. Can bulk items be purchased at that store? If no, then they definitely don't bother stepping in at all. That's because bulk buying is one of the easiest ways to save money, and it's one, too, we assure could change your finances forever. Statistically, buying food items in bulk saves between 30 and 60% on the cost. And that's not for Amish people. It applies to your grocery bills just as much. Bulk buying also provides as much quality as you'd like in enough quantity to last for a longer period of time. And although this is just a passive idea, buying in bulk is better for Amish people because most bulk food items are preservative-free. This means the Amish can preserve foods themselves using the old traditional methods that make foods last longer without refrigerating, rather than relying on potentially harmful synthetic preservatives. After narrowing down their options to stores that are nearby and offer bulk items, next, the Amish consider the range of products available at the store. Doing all the shopping in one location is surely more cost-effective than having to go to a number of different stores, so that's a no-brainer for them. Only after considering all these factors do they finally address the affordability factor. But here's the thing. Considering the proximity, bulk buying, and the range of products available narrows down the options to only the cheap and affordable stores. Think about it. Amish settlements are mostly in the countryside, far from modern cities. Any grocery store in the countryside is definitely cheaper than what you'll get coming to the heart of a bustling metropolitan city. With all the boxes checked and picking a suitable location for grocery shopping on a budget, where do the Amish do the actual shopping? First and most rampant are Amish stores. If you didn't know these exist, it's because 1. You're not Amish, and 2. They're not like your regular stores. They're small shops on the roadside, with small signages instead of billboards attached to the simple shop shed. They're not designed to attract the attention of tourists, could be mistaken for an abandoned commercial warehouse or processing facility, and most times, seeing one of these shops is a hint that there's a long-time Amish settlement in a mile radius of wherever you are. You definitely can't find them on the internet, and the best publicity you can get for such shops is a couple of reviews on Yelp from people who just happen to stumble upon them. It almost sounds like a ghost shop, considering most of these shops have been open for the decades the surrounding Amish settlement has been in existence. They're what the typical American refer to as salvage stores because that's mostly what's on sale: damaged items or items near or past their expiration dates. After all, the Amish have their own preservation techniques, so they don't need to buy packaged food items when they're fresh from the factory. Instead, they opt for products that the average city person would toss in a bin. These stores also sell a lot of ready-to-eat foods and snacks like cookies, crackers, chips, and cereals that meet the Amish benchmark for natural products in large quantities. Amish stores also have both packaged and raw ingredients for cooking, which makes them heaven for people who love to cook from scratch. You can buy these items in bulk, but we should warn you that the definition of bulk buying in Amish stores isn't quite the same as it is in the Costco near your home. In Amish stores, bulk purchases are selected by weight, so items like flour, rice, nuts, and dried fruit are packaged in pre-weighted bags with a custom price sticker on them. Then there are a lot of traditional Amish foods like fermented sauerkraut, Amish starters for cheeses, kefir, raw milk, pasteurized eggs, and grass-fed meat. Since prescription pills can be lethal if used in a damaged state, Amish stores replace pills with herbal supplements and ingredients that can be used to make teas and soups for homemade remedies. As you'd imagine, everything in these stores are ridiculously cheap, and you could literally go in with $10 and come out with a basket full of foodstuff. You should also know that despite the Amish not being fans of conventional freezing and refrigerating, these Amish stores do have frozen foods available for sale. And this time, we don't mean foods frozen out in the winter cold. Nope, Amish stores use solar thermal panels to run their cooling equipment, and solar thermal collectors to heat liquid. These shops make use of fluorescent panels and natural sunlight for lighting. Amish stores are cheap to run and maintain, and they sell goods for even cheaper, and they're never alone. If one Amish store sells just salvaged packaged products, there's definitely one nearby selling fresh produce, another selling dairy and meat from farms, and some selling fabrics and handcrafted furniture. So you're not going into a Costco where you can buy everything, but you also don't have to take different trips to different stores. They're all within trekkable distances of each other. All of these stores are often family-run, so they can take shifts and stay open for long hours every day. Pretty much checks all the boxes, right? Very similar to Amish stores are the farmers market and roadside stands. These are especially situated within the Amish communities, which makes it practically impossible for a non-Amish to stumble upon. Farmers markets, just like the name sounds, are the easiest ways for Amish families to exchange crops and livestock produce. Almost every Amish home practices farming, but it's rare to find a single family producing every crop or food item on their own. Instead, in an average Amish community, one family cultivates corn, another cultivates potatoes, others are beekeepers, and another family raises livestock. This way, labor is shared amongst the community, and each item can be produced by large quantities by just one family. The farmer's market then ends up being the place where every member of the community displays his harvest, goods, and any other items to sell to others so different products get circulated. Sometimes they practice the good old trade by barter, simply exchanging goods, but other times they exchange goods for money like every other civilized market. Farmers markets are often accompanied by roadside stands with homemade baked goods and a variety of handcrafted items. The stands are often managed by the women, while the farmers markets are handled by the male farmers. This way, everyone in the community gets what he or she needs to keep their commitment to simplicity and self-sufficiency while keeping the core value of a tight-knit community in place. Remember we mentioned how much the Amish value proximity when selecting their shopping location? Because of that, Amish people are not against shopping at non-Amish local stores and supermarkets. So yeah, although it's not their preference, the proximity of stores like Walmart and other big retailers to certain Amish settlements means Amish people visit the same supermarkets you do. It's just like with their rules about avoiding the use of technology and electricity in modern Amish communities. They try to avoid it as much as they can, but it's not a moral objection if they have limited options. If you're wondering how they have limited options when they have stores and farmers markets, The need to visit nearby Walmarts and Costco's arises when the Amish need to purchase hardware and agricultural supplies. Maybe in the 1800s, Amish welded their own cutlasses and pitchforks and spun their own cotton to make fabric, but not in today's world. Now, Amish people simply head to the nearest supermarkets to get these supplies. They mostly do this in groups by hiring an Amish taxi, which is basically any van owner who's interested in shuffling them from their off-grid settlement to the nearest shops. These trips are done occasionally, like once a month or once a quarter. So it's one trip to buy as many cheap items from retailers and bulk buy outlets as they can afford, and back to base they go. If you have doubts about this, visit any Ohio or New Philadelphia Walmart that's a few minutes drive from the bustling city and be on the lookout for Amish buggies in the parking lot. Trust us, you won't be looking for too long. If you've enjoyed this video on how Amish shop for groceries on a budget and want to learn more about the Amish lifestyle, please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us continue to bring valuable content and practical knowledge to our viewers. Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments and let us know what topics you'd like to see next. Thank you for joining us through this journey on how Amish shop for groceries on a budget. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the frugal solutions of the past.